All right, YouTube, this is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. I want you to think about this topic I'm finna bring up and I'm finna show you. And I'm finna use a lot of news coverage or news interviews so you can see what I'm saying. Now, what I'm saying is this. Is the media painting a narrative and placing black women as the face of civil dissent and opposition? Why do you think I say that? I'm gonna let you decide. We're gonna I want you to watch this, just some footage of some things that I've noticed. Also, I noticed today that Rashida Tlaib of Detroit, the congresswoman, she was censored and silenced by the Congress. So let's start with this. This is for fair use, educational purposes, and commentary. We'll start with Rashida.
We're getting back, celebrated. I can't wait to see your face again.
A sitting member of Congress has been just censured in the House. The House passed a resolution against Michigan Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib overnight. Tlaib, who is the only Palestinian member of Congress, was accused of calling for the destruction of Israel.
The idea that criticizing the government of Israel is anti-Semitic sets a very dangerous precedent, and it's being used to silence diverse voices speaking up for human rights across our nation.
Tlaib says her positions have been distorted and that her perspective is needed now in Congress more than ever. She called on her colleagues to focus more on saving lives.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.
Now I started there. I want to let's go way back to the sister from Atlanta that's supposed to be prosecuting Trump.
What White House lawyer Eric Hirschman, he went on his great value version of Twitter and announced that he will turn himself into authorities in Fulton County, Georgia on Thursday.
She's talking about Trump.
Meaning at that moment, he will be under arrest. This will follow the surrender of some of the 18 others charged in Georgia for alleged efforts to reverse the outcome of the 2020 election that Trump lost in Georgia and every other state he needed. And Trump must be afraid, having watched some of his closest allies, including John Eastman, who wrote the memo proposing how Vice President Mike Pence could challenge Biden's victory by rejecting key electoral college votes, watching him surrender in Fulton County. Eastman is still saying he believes the election was stolen. No question in his mind, he says. Despite what White House lawyer Eric Hirschman testified to the January 6th committee that he once gave Eastman this very blunt advice.
Tonight, authorities say the alleged shooter planned.
I want to see the actual sister who's prosecuting Trump. Let me go back to the history. They're saying her name in there, but they're not using it. But we'll go here. Watch this argument on CNN.
We're building a better postal service with easy, more affordable ways to ship so you can deliver even more holiday joy. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America.
What do you think's going on here?
I do think it's a generational thing. And I think in general, there has been a lack of nuance in the conversation when you talk about Israel and Palestine, to the point where you cannot be critical of the government of Israel's actions without someone calling you anti-Semitic, which some would argue is crazy, because we can be critical of the United States of America and understanding we're criticizing the United States of America, not the people. And so I think that there's a generation of young people who believe that we should be able to have a nuanced conversation about this. Now, I think that this generation of young people has now infiltrated the United States Congress, and they're understanding that it might be a little bit more complicated than it seems on its face. And I think that's a conversation.
So I think it's hard to have a nuanced conversation about a government that calls for the eradication of the Israeli homeland.
The Hamas government.
Right. So that's what I mean. Like, so how can you have a nuance? That's their position. They're not like, let's get along.
Well,
like, hold on, Simone. Hold on.
No, I just want to be clear. You're jumping, and this is what I'm talking about. I'm not jumping. I am saying there are people that are advocating for the rights of the Palestinian people. No, I'm not talking about Hamas. The rights of the Palestinian people. Every Palestinian is not Hamas. And so because there is a lack of nuance in the conversation, because anytime I introduce anything that says we should look at these folks as people, you automatically jump to
Simone, I'm not saying you should look at them as people. Okay. Do you denounce terrorism like that? Do you denounce Hamas?
I'm not going to engage with
Simone, it's a simple question.
Of course, Simone does.
That's a question that should not even be asked because it has been answered.
Stop.
No, you stop. Because suggesting, do you denounce terrorism? Do you denounce hate? Do you still support Donald Trump? The audacity.
There's no audacity.
This is what I'm talking about.
Well,
let me just say this.
Okay.
Look, this is an issue
by the
that
way,
Republicans
this is
and
why it's tough
Democrats
to talk
used
about
to be
this.
very strong on this.
Okay. Nah. We're going to go back some more. Remember this? I'm gonna see if they got just a certain. Okay, I use this. I use this one. All right, we're gonna use this one. It's for fair usage.
Get up to 6 accounts per household and unlimited DVR space included.
Bro, y'all need to watch this, bro. Let's go.
Yeah. It's a formula for corruption when you have unelected bureaucrats that are actually setting policy. But that's a detail compared to my point, which is we need to revive the idea.
So it sounds like to me he's referring to, I guess, lobbying within political parties. That's the only type of unelected people making decisions that I could think of that are making decisions on such a mass level. In my opinion, I think he's right. If you are
changing the ideas of what political opponents look like, what they should look like, or political candidates. Are you willing to take a test with me quickly? Because I just have a couple of questions for you.
I will, absolutely. And the way this is opening up, I have a feeling I'm about to fail it, but that's good. Let's do it.
That's right, yeah. Just for clarity, I am an independent. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. Cool. I think that's important for the premise of the argument, because I know you did a lot of debating at Harvard. I also want to make it clear that these are the same questions that I asked liberal Democrat Marianne Williamson. So I want to make sure that we put that out there as well, just to kind of set the foundation.
I'm open to being humbled. Let's do this.
Okay, great. Let's go. So you mentioned, the pride of being an American and how important it is to have pride in this country. I'm also a veteran, by the way, for the United States Air Force.
I want to see if y'all can answer these questions too. So stay tuned. Let's try to answer these joints together, bro. Of
course. So when is it that you voted for the first time?
I voted in 2020.
Okay, so you're how old again?
I'm 37 years old.
So for how many years you sat around and did not get involved at all in any civic engagement? Is that my understanding?
A long time is the answer. And actually that's what I wrote this book about. I'm not holding myself out as some sort of model. I'm actually offering myself as a self-reflection.
So y'all see what she's trying to do? She's trying to kind of make him look a little dumb or a little foolish by saying like, so you expect people to vote and you.
Now, not only are we reacting to what she's doing at the Breakfast Club, but we listen to his reaction of how he is perceiving the woman that's talking, the sister. This is very telling in what I'm talking about.
You haven't voted, bruh. It is not going to work, man. It's not going to work here. he openly admitted to saying, like, yeah, I haven't been that politically active. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I haven't been that politically active. But the difference is, if you are not politically active, that doesn't automatically make you less than as an American citizen. The reason that I wasn't as politically active prior to, I guess, now, just me learning about politics, is because I didn't know anything about politics. So let's be honest. Let's say it's the 2020 election. Would you rather me go out there and vote for whoever without knowing anything about either party? Or would you rather me just not vote? There's a good argument for both sides because on one hand, whoever wins is going to win. But on the other hand, I will be playing a part in them winning. So as a citizen of the United States, what type of citizen would I be if I just went?
It's about her.
What do you think's going on here?
I do think it's a generational thing, and I think in general there has been a lack of nuance in.
Well, let's skip her. I think you get to how they played her when she was out there arguing. Okay, now let me see these right here. How they finna talk about the squad. I don't know if you're familiar with the squad. That's the four.
They're saying stop giving money to Israel, stop helping Israel. What do you say? These Democrats say it sickens them. It's reprehensible and repulsive. What do you say to all this?
I think the chickens are really coming home to roost for progressives and the Democratic Socialists and really a whole wing of the Democratic Party, which for years has tolerated anti-Israel, anti-Semitism, full-blown anti-Semitic content every single day. I mean, Ilhan Omar, how many times has she been publicly called out for the terrible things she has said about Israel and about Jewish people? The Democratic Socialists of America, which is an organization that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a part of, Jamal Bowman is a part of, Cori Bush is a part of. These are all House Squad members. They co-organized a pro-Hamas rally in New York City on Sunday. And I personally saw dozens, maybe hundreds of people dressed up as Hamas fighters. People, if you saw them at the movie theater, at the airport, you would call the police. And, and these are people in our country. They're in the subway with us. And there's a lot that needs to be answered for here. I'll certainly say that.
Let's move on to this. Dan Abrams of Mediaite, now at News Nation, he's slamming MSNBC's coverage of Israel's war against Hamas terrorists. He says MSNBC, their anchors and guests have been shamefully pandering to the far left audience and basically whitewashing terrorism. Watch this.
It's their fault, right? This is Israel's fault. It's the United States' fault. It's the policies that somehow justify or even explain the slaughter, rapes, and kidnapping of innocent civilians. And that ridiculous commentary set the tone for much of MSNBC's coverage throughout the weekend. Notice how all of a sudden, context and nuance are important for MSNBC. But when it's a story that fits their political agenda, like, I don't know, an officer-involved shooting, context and nuance go out the window. I mean, this is worse than just a double standard.
I want you to see more on the squad. That's Cori Bush. I don't want to. Oh, let me see.
So I found this website claiming to give free gift cards to fundies, and I actually got
people in the Gaza Strip. St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell announced this week he was in support of the Palestinian people. Squad members face Democratic primary challenges over Israel stances. You see what's happening now? See what's happening? This is why John Fetterman has not spoken up in support of the Palestinian people. This is why Hakeem Jeffrey kisses Benjamin Netanyahu's ass. And this is why Richie Torres does the same thing. Let's go on. So you'll see there's a picture there of Cori Bush. St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell announced this week he was dropping his month-long bid to unseat one of the country's most outspoken Republican senators, Josh Hawley, to launch a primary campaign to oust fellow Democrat Representative Cori Bush. Here we go. When asked to explain his switch, Bell pointed to Bush's criticism of Israel. You see what's happening now, guys? This is going to happen, all of them. Everybody who speaks out in support of the Palestinian people or criticizes what the state of Israel was doing, they all going to come for your seat. And I already got an ad to show you that's already being used against Rashida Tlaib. We'll get to that in a second. Our world is in a dangerous place and we need steady and effective leadership, Bell told reporters Monday. And we're not getting it in the district. I think we have to stand.
Okay, I'm going to get to my point. I don't know if you follow the theme I was trying to show you because there's so much of it, even all the way to the press secretary at the White House. But on a global scale and in the world views, they're painting a narrative by using somebody else as the spokesperson for policies that other people may not support. You understand what I'm saying? You being a spokesperson for an agenda that your very own constituents don't support. And it's dangerous because it's dog whistling to people who are radicalized. Now I'm going to end this video on this.
I wish for the amazing new iPhone 15 Pro. Sean.
You mean this one, the one with titanium? Switch to Verizon. You can trade in any iPhone and get the new iPhone 15 Pro on them.
It's your last chance to trade in any iPhone for a new iPhone 15 Pro on us, only on Verizon.
The latest on the racist massacre in Buffalo. President Biden is heading there to meet with the families of the victims as officials release new details about the lives lost. And this morning, we're getting an exclusive look at the moment the shooter was arrested and the warning signs that were missed. Stephanie Ramos starts us off from Buffalo. Good morning, Stephanie.
George, good morning. President Biden and the First Lady will be here in Buffalo this morning, paying their respects here at the Tops supermarket and also meeting with the families of the victims. The president is expected to call for federal hate crime legislation so that what happened here never happens again.
This morning, chilling new details on how the gunman behind the deadly mass shooting at a Buffalo, New York supermarket plotted his racist rampage.
The individual was here a few months ago, back in early March.
Authorities now confirming 18-year-old Peyton Gendron visited Tops supermarket 2 months before he shot and killed 10 people in what the FBI calls a racially motivated attack. ABC News obtaining a 589-page document containing the suspect's alleged posts on the site Discord. Authorities say it appears to show how the gunman carefully planned out the massacre, visiting the supermarket on March 8th, where he was questioned by a security guard. The document also included sketches of the supermarket, outlining different aisles he could navigate quickly, the shooter allegedly describing the store as his first location, listing other possible locations to attack nearby. Police say the shooter visited the store again the day before his deadly assault to conduct reconnaissance, then came back Saturday and opened fire.
Hell yeah.
This exclusive video capturing the shock and terror in the shooting's aftermath as the gunman was arrested.
Oh my God, he shot so many people in there.
Julie Harwell, seen here falling to the ground, inconsolable. Her partner and 8-year-old daughter were inside. Overnight, her partner telling ABC News he and their daughter London had separated from Julie because they wanted to buy ingredients for a surprise birthday cake.
I took my daughter so she can pick out what cake that we were going to bake for her mother's birthday, try to surprise her.
And then what did you hear?
Well, first you hear the gunshot. I see all the people running, so I just grabbed my daughter, ran in the back.
Lamont and London hiding in a cooler as they recounted to our affiliate WKBW.
I was scared for my mom.
I'm gonna end that on that note, but what I was trying to get to is that the radicalized individual was mainly targeting black women. Now, I don't want this to be misconstrued as not saying they shouldn't have a voice, but it's like the agendas that they're being pushed to deal with have a lot of global and real world consequences, and I just think that's something that should be paid attention to. And Biden know he should have gave people an anti-black crime bill. You know what I mean? Whatever they call that crime bill that protects people, he should have, especially if he got black people out front speaking in his behalf, or the face of black people speaking in his behalf. I know a lot of people may not agree with me on this, but look at the information and think about how people use psychology and psychological operations to paint narratives behind what it may look like on the surface. What it may look like on the surface, it may look like upward mobilization and elevation, when in the end, it's a road to destruction. Saying now, Detroit, peace, keep your head on the swivel.